people from outer space here? Actually, people actually ask me that, are there aliens? You go to Heathrow Airport and you'll find out there is actually an entry point for aliens. They put it down there, EU citizens and aliens. When I first went to Heathrow and I saw that, I thought that's very interesting. I was waiting to see people with antennas and appendages go through that gate in the immigration at Heathrow Airport. They call them aliens. Anyway, we're living in this world of consumerism and capitalism, where mass media and advertisements are used to stimulate the emotions and desires of the public that they become addicted and attached. Is there a mechanism to awake them from these manipulations of business? Yeah, I mean, when you go and watch these advertisements on TV, or even just on the tollways going from KLIA, I don't know how many advertisements there are on these big billboards. We are bombarded with advertisements to consume. And so we need to re-brainwash ourselves by coming to the temple. And if you come into the temple, we don't advertise anything over here. It's all for free. This is actually the antithesis of materialism. I'm telling you to live more simply. How much do you need? How many shoes do you have? Compare the number of shoes to how many feet you have. Can you see there's a disconnect there? So actually you can live more simply. And people who say, if Ajahn Brahm keeps on talking like this, the economy will go down and we'll all go bust. And it's not like that. If you can live more simply, much of the wealth of our nations is going to fix up the problems caused by mass consumerism. The health problems, because people are so stressed out, working so hard to pay for the things they don't need anyway. That's why we have huge hospitals, where we have lots of psychological problems, which we spend heaps of money fixing. We could save a lot of money and be sustainable if we had less desires. So look, this type of teaching is a teaching whose time has come. Simplicity. Because how much we consume, we're just consuming our planet at a rate which means we'll have nothing left for our kids. They'll be in big trouble. So this is not a thing you can wait for some conference in Cancun to solve. We have to act ourselves to see if we can live more simply, consume less, make more things last, have less pairs of shoes, less clothes, and use less. And then instead of being a consumer, which just creates more problems for ourselves and others, you will find that you can retire much younger with more money in the bank because you haven't spent it on such stupid things. How big a house do you want? Sometimes people like to buy big houses, in good suburbs. Why? Just to show off to your neighbours and friends. See how good I am. I'm wealthy and rich. I prefer small houses. As I said yesterday, in a big house, your son has one room, your daughter has another room, your wife has her room, your husband has another room, your grandma has another room. You never meet each other. Your house separates your family. In a small house, you sleep in the same room, you're always running into each other, you can't avoid each other, which means you're a family. You learn how to live and love each other. Many of you who are elderly people here grew up in a house like that. My little apartment where we grew up, you couldn't escape from my brother, my mum and my dad. There's no escape, we're just in a small apartment. That's how we learned to love each other. But if I was in my own room, I could just go into seclusion. I never learned the skill of learning to share space with another human being. Big houses mean big problems. And that's only the social problem, let alone the amount of money you have to pay to buy such things. You know, the credit cards, where did that come from? From people building big houses which they didn't need anyway, just because they thought it was investment. And the prices went down, down, down. So look, have small houses. Even if you can afford a big house, buy a small one, especially if you have a family, so you can be together. And you've got no place to run to. You have to live together. It also means you don't have to have such big debt. So this is against consumerism, but it creates a much more socially harmonious society, and it much more fulfillment. You find you get much more happiness, not out of how much you own, but how much you share.